we meet again, the Time Lord and the Toymaker. One final game. It's time.
Hello and welcome to the Grand Circle Tour podcast.
You sound more Indian than German.
Hey, you didn't specify what accent I was going to do.
I need this audio clip forever, Justin. Can you do that again? But thank you. Come again.
Oh my god! I went to the bathroom before we started. Oh Lord!
Oh.
I told you to do the bad German.
Take
You didn't tell
two.
me how bad.
Oh my god!
I told you I was really bad at accents. Hello and welcome to the Grand Circle Tour podcast. We are having another roundtable discussion, this time for the third special in the 60th anniversary run of specials on Disney Plus for Doctor Who. This one is called The Giggle. Joining me on deck are, of course, my two favorite co-hosts. Over here in the communications chair is Food Fairy Kris. How are you doing today, Kris?
I'm not going to try to talk with an accent, but I'm fine.
I dare you. I double dog dare you.
I can do a real New York kind of accent, you know.
We're gonna
but-
piss so many people off in the first 5 minutes.
I'm good. Busy week again. You know, heading into Christmas here. There's where we live. There's something always going on. So, went to Dollywood on Wednesday night to see all the Christmas lights and the Smoky Mountain Christmas, and it was really nice when we got there because it was like 54, and we got out of the car and just had t-shirts, and because we had special t-shirts made, Holly Dolly Christmas, and we wore white long sleeve t-shirts underneath them, and we were fine. But then we got on the tram and got cold pretty quick because it was not much wind, but just the vehicle thing itself moving. So we put our coats on right away when we got there, and we were going to try to stay for the drone show, which was at 8:30. And at 8:15, my feet were numb, and I said, I cannot walk anymore, because it had gone down to, once the sun set, it had gone down to like 38 to 40, and I'm like, I'm ready to go home. Sorry, we gotta go. So, but yeah, it was a good evening, and we had a lot of fun. So that's what matters.
Nice. Welcome to the show. So, also joining me in the navigation officer's chair is Skipper Jay. How are you doing today, Jay?
I am pretty fantastic. You want to get lost. I know you want to get lost. And then you put me in this chair every time. So
I
get
know
lost,
if I
like
do
it.
that, it's going to be an adventure.
We want to go to the edge of the universe, Jay.
Some days I do. Some days I want that level of quiet and aloneness where I'm like, that spaceship would make a good summer home.
Yeah, that would be good.
There you go.
Yeah.
So once again, we're going to do this the way we have been.
What's up with me is I realized something this week. One of the greatest things about being a Walt Disney World annual pass holder is the lack of things I need going in and out. I just need what's in my pocket. No more backpacks, no more bags, no more carrying a small arsenal of medical supplies and extra things. You just park your car, go in,
Yeah.
and that's it. I don't need anything but what's literally on my person. It's beautiful. The best Walt Disney World can be.
Yes.
Well, I am glad. But as I started to say, so we're going to do this same way we did the last two reviews. We'll do a bit of a non-spoiler bit up front, then we'll take a little bit of a break, and we'll come back with all the spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to skip that part until you're ready, until you've watched the show. So let's start with the non-spoiler kind of overview. And we'll start with Kris again. What did you think of this episode overall?
I really, really liked it. I was a little frightened. So they achieved their goal with that, I'm sure. Everybody has to know that Neil Patrick Harris is in this episode, and he is a phenomenal actor anyway, but I'm telling you, this role was almost like made for him. So everyone definitely will like this episode.
Absolutely. Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris is just phenomenal in this. He does a great job with it, balancing that kind of the silliness and the sinister all at the same time.
Yep.
How about you, Jay? What did you think about this one overall?
After watching it 3 times, because this is such a dense episode, there's so much going on, and there's so much that you missed the first 2 times. I loved it. I was expecting Russell to come along and do what he usually does, take a 2x4 and just beat me with it until I cry and cry and cry, because this guy has hurt me more than any ex has with some of his storylines and characters. We got a happy ending, and I'll get into that later on, but it was really refreshing. And as we head into a new year, it's kind of like, if the Doctor can be good, I can be good.
There you go.
And in some ways, this one is a little bit more of a 60th anniversary special, in that we're bringing back a classic villain, we're bringing back a classic companion. We're actually kind of addressing more than just the new series. We're getting back to the classic series as well. So and overall it was done very well. Everyone did a great job with this one, so I'm very happy with it overall.
But Justin, did you think this was like a nice tying of the bow to end the current modern era and restart without changing our history? Like, we had this kind of a soft reboot in a way.
You know, and Disney Plus has said that they're gonna treat this as series 1. They're calling this series 1 as if it's a whole new show, starting from scratch. And I feel like this was an attempt to kind of like reboot the show a little bit and
make it something new for new people too.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that was Disney's decision going into it.
Well, again, I think these 3 specials were created before Disney was involved. Is my understanding. This was the BBC putting this together before they had Disney money, before they had the Disney contract. In fact, this was put together partly to try to get a streaming contract. So this was what they were shopping around to get someone to say, yeah, we'll support this. And that turned out to be Disney. But so this is not Disney's involvement trying to do it as this soft reboot.
Yeah, so they wanted to cough up the money so they could get the attention that they were desiring for somebody to take this on.
Like I said last week, it's like, wait, we could have had this the whole time.
Yeah, really.
But all right, so let's take a quick little break here, and we'll come back with
one quick non-spoilery thought.
Sure.
Unlike the 50th, which I think you needed to be a into the show, know the history, the lore. Unlike the 50th, I would show this to someone coming into the show for the first time, and I wouldn't show them the 50th.
Yeah, this one, these 3 together kind of stand alone, kind of as their own set. You don't need to know quite so much about it. I mean, the first one with Donna, we're kind of picking up a bit of a convoluted thread from before with that, and they did their best to explain it and work with it, but these last 2 in particular have been very standalone. You could come into this without knowing anything. I do agree with you there. It is a good jumping on point.
Yep.
So, all right, so let's take that break, and then when we come back, we will talk spoilers. And we are back. Oh my goodness, what a show this was.
Oh my goodness, you could run the button. Now I got to go in and actually put that in. Thanks, Justin. Thanks for adding like 6 seconds of work.
It's what I'm here for. So this show, okay, so first of all, we start off with we're seeing someone come into a little shop. We're 1925, and there is Neil Patrick Harris with an actual German accent as opposed to whatever I tried to do.
Yes, a very good German accent.
And this guy is there to buy a little ventriloquist doll for his employer to use. His employer ends up being John Logie Baird, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit that as much as I know about history and the history of technology in particular, I didn't recognize this name. I did not know this part of the television story.
Well, I think that's because it's a very obscure. I think most people think TV began in the 50s with Bruce, but they didn't realize that it was an ongoing process for 30 years. Right.
I mean, so I'm more familiar with, kind of the later part of the story as opposed to this, which was, what we see with his transmission. That was like the first color, the first transmission over the air to kind of show that this idea would even work.
Mm-hmm.
And really quick, that actor actually played John Logie Baird in a different series.
Really?
So Russell said in his headcanon, it's the same universe.
Wow. Interesting. I did not know that.
But so we get this introduction to Neil Patrick Harris and in his character as the toy maker, and you can tell immediately that something's up.
Oh, yes.
Not just with his fake accent, but when he sort of implies that he possibly killed someone for their hair to make one of these dolls.
Mm-hmm. She will no longer need it.
Or anything.
Yes.
Can we also point out that, I mean, it is known in Doctor Who lore that the toy maker is racist, and we have just enough to see how nasty he is. He makes a comment about where he's from, and the way that scene is played out, the confrontation.
Well, and all throughout, I mean, he's clearly just kind of playing at being human, basically. So he's playing with the accents, he's playing with the outfits, whether it's here he's being German, later on he's like dancing around with a French accent. I mean, so he's just kind of going all over the board, and I think it's part of his character to just kind of play. So I mean, that is a lot of fun. So of course we see Stooky Bill, the ventriloquist dummy, and that initial transmission on television, and the poor little puppet burst into flames.
He does.
And then gave us all a jump scare.
But he was very creepy looking, so I wasn't like really upset that he burst into flames.
Well, and the weird part is like that's the kind of thing that they did actually use in real life.
Yeah.
That's a real image. That's even more creepy.
Yes.
Stooky Bill was a real thing, and they did a pretty good job capturing that likeness of the real thing.
Yeah.
So we get back to the Doctor and Donna having arrived in London, and everything is in utter chaos. Sadly, as we knew last time, that was the only time we get to see Wilf. That was the only scene that Bernard Cribbins was able to film before he passed away. So what little we do see of him here is a body double, but we do get a voice over basically from him. One line saying, go with the Doctor, which is sampled from a previous episode.
I was going to say, because I've watched the show so much, I recognize the exact scene that was filmed.
But so we don't get to see more of him, which is sad. But we get to see the rest of the episode, so that is good. So we find out everyone is like they all think that they are right and they are arguing all the time.
Twitter what?
And it's like
Is it? I mean, that is totally a comparison to real life today, because that's, there's so many people that are so
so
there's a lot of narcissists.
Everyone thinks they're right.
Yep. Everyone thinks they're right. Well, that one.
And are willing to tell you.
Literally. Yes.
In no uncertain terms. So yeah, it feels a little bit like social commentary, and I was almost more surprised they didn't do more with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was an anti-vaxxer message later on.
Yeah, so Unit shows up and we haul the Doctor and Donna away and the TARDIS. We get to see it flying through the air again underneath the helicopter, and we go to the Avengers Tower. I'm sorry, Unit Tower.
Yes.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
Seriously, it wasn't just me, right? That looked totally like the Avengers Tower.
That was the Avengers Tower.
Yes, 100%.
So we get to see Shirley Ann Bingham again. I love her character. I'm glad to see her back. Kate Lethbridge Stewart, of course, is back.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was someone else there too. Jay, do you remember who else was there?
You know what? I love the way the scene was played. There was no angst. He just turns his head, doubles a double take, and he's just like, "Hey!" And they just embrace, and the way they're able to just talk again, I loved it.
Yeah, classic companion. Melanie Bush comes back, and
Melanie Bush, the eternal ray of sunshine. I mean, Mel is positivity incarnate, and that's what I love.
That was one thing I wanted to say about this, is that I was so glad to see a companion come back who's just happy. She's living her life. She's fine. She's not.
As much as I love School Reunion, it's a very Sex and the City based episode. This was just, oh my God, it's my friend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So she's just happy to be doing what she's doing. We actually get to see her on a computer for a change.
Mm-hmm.
She was always supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that we find out what happened to Savalon Glitz. He lived to 101 and died tripping over a whiskey bottle.
Because why wouldn't he, right?
That is that character.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, so I mean she's there, she's living her best life. She's working for Unit. And what about the robot, Vlinks?
I definitely think we'll see him in a spinoff.
Right. So there's some rumors flying around that Russell T Davies wants to do a spin-off of Doctor Who, and the most likely candidate everyone seems to agree on is we've got Unit here. We've got all these great characters that we just this almost feels like a backdoor pilot for this new Unit series. Because we just kind of introduce this Blinks character and go, we're not going to really explore that any further. He just exists.
Yeah.
I'm putting a pin in that character because I'm really hoping that isn't the character for children down the road.
I just hope he's snarky.
Yeah.
In a Mr. Smith kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And even Mel, I mean, I loved seeing her here, but she didn't really have a lot to do. She was just, for the most part, she was just kind of there. And she's back, that was fine, but
yeah. Well, she's back for the finale of season 1, so I think this is just setting her up because we're going to see her throughout the season.
Yeah, it really felt like this was just kind of like, hey, we're introducing this character, kind of like with the robot. We're introducing her, giving you all the information you need to know about her right now, and we will see her again in the future. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's see, where are we at here? So Kate explains that, the world's gone to chaos. Everyone thinks they're right. People in Unit have their V-Dex, this little armband that protects them from whatever is going on. It's apparently related to a satellite that just went up, kind of finally connected everything in a way that this transmission went worldwide. They take the VDEX off of her to show what happens. And okay, so the actor playing Kate does a fantastic job with this.
Yeah, she does.
Can I say that was the moment? That was the scary scene for me in the entire episode. The Kate losing control. That scared me, and I did not like that.
Yeah, and she's just, I mean, mean. I mean,
yeah, she was.
It's like, so yeah, and she even like was fighting them off as they're trying to get the armband put back on her and all of that. That was just that was creepy.
It was, because it was like the total opposite of her normal demeanor. So it was like she just like went off.
An enraged Kate.
Yes.
A Kate who will hurt you.
Yeah. And we do not want a Kate that will hurt you, because she can.
Osgood. We didn't see Osgood in these episodes, so I'm a little worried for her.
Yeah, where
Both of them.
I hope we get some, at least a reference or something at some point to go, where's Osgood? What happened to her?
I'm sure she'll be back. I mean, I think this was Shirley's time to shine, because I really like this character. I want to see more of her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. And I would love to see Osgood pop up again, because
I'm sure she will. There's two of them.
Both of her.
but in this same scene, though, we get to see the return of the character I have been wanting back since 2010, Trinity Wells.
Yeah, as we're showing off all of what's going on in the world, and so now apparently she has her own talk show, and but she is anti VDEX.
Yes.
And what is it, me, or was that a very unsubtle message that she was an anti-vaxxer person?
Yeah, and this was like very obviously like let's say an Alex Jones type show. I mean,
I was thinking it, but I wasn't gonna say it.
A little, it's like we could go with other references, but we'll go with Alex Jones as
Trinity's back, and I'm really that just makes me endlessly happy.
Yeah, it is fun to see some of these people pop up again and again, because it gives that sense of continuity to the universe that you're living in. When you see these returning characters, even if they are just kind of like Trinity Wells, a background character who's just there to kind of like read the news, or in this case, spout some nonsense.
Yeah.
And in the time that the RTV era ended, she's only reprised the role once. It's a Captain Jack Harkness box set on Big Finish. Story 2 in that set, where aliens are trying to silence her. So who this mysterious new chauffeur shows up, and who is it? It's Captain Jack.
So as they're looking at these brain waveforms and all of that, and Donna, of all people, figures out, hey, this is like a musical note sequence, an arpeggiello or arpeggiello, however you pronounce that. And they realize that they all kind of recognize it and kind of cringe at it, and it's like it's the giggle, and that's what's causing everything to go so haywire.
Yes.
So Doctor and Donna go back to 1925 and stumble onto the toy maker's shop. And boy, the things get creepy fast there, don't they?
They do.
More horror, more Doctor Who doing horror while running down corridors at the same time. That's the same.
Well, even at the beginning, is like they're playing their game of catch or whatever. But the Doctor, as soon as he recognizes who's standing there, he tells Donna, "Go back to the TARDIS." And she's like, "You never tell me that." Yeah. He's like, "Just go."
And I loved the little pop-ins from the Toymaker episode from the 60s. When they just
so you
flash
just
in
get
William Hartnell.
that little bit that it's like, this is how old this character is, just that little shot, because we see him and we see the first Doctor briefly, so you can tell. I mean, this is like from way back in the day. But yeah, so they play their little game of catch and end up in this labyrinth, and the Doctor, again, he has this moment of vulnerability as he talks to Donna about what's going on. It's like he's not sure he can keep her alive, and he doesn't know if he can win this game. And
but again, shows what I truly love about and want more from the 14th Doctor is this was the 12th Doctor. This was the 11th Doctor. This was the 13th. This is same face, but has gone through those lives. So it's I'm loving seeing the old face after
after all those experiences. And
I see a lot of Capaldi in him.
Yeah,
I guess I can see that. But yeah, and again, it's like this is like him all kind of opening up and actually talking about what's going on in his head. And Donna has to kind of reassure him, because when he says something about it's like, well, he won last time, so it's like he's due to lose this time. And she's like, my dad used to say, the dice doesn't know what the dice just did. The game always starts fresh, and it gives him that sort of courage to kind of move forward. So that was another nice scene between these two. That felt like, again, they're old friends who can talk to each other.
Again, the strength of these three stories is all these small character moments.
Right. Very much so. When you, like, if you were to just pull them out, you could have an episode all on its own just with their interaction with each other and how close they are. So I like that.
So as these two are going down their corridors, they of course they get separated, and the Doctor finds the guy who had bought the Stooky Bill doll, who has been turned into a marionette of his own.
Yes.
Which, that was nice and creepy. And then Donna finds Stooky Mama and the Stooky Bobbies. And they start attacking her, and I love that she just they're tormenting her with these poems, right?
Yes.
Doing this rhyme, and she goes, I am Donna, and you're gonna be a gunna.
But that scene, though,
destroys this doll,
and she's talking, and she has no idea that those babies are coming down from the ceiling. It's like, Donna!
Look behind you.
But I love how confident Donna has become in herself. Old Donna would not have done this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like last week she was like, oh, well, we've got hostile action and no TARDIS. Well, let's go kick some butt. And this time she's like, no. Wow.
Hey, Justin, do we know? I keep forgetting to check and see who voiced Stooky Mama. Do you know who that was? I swear it was Steve McIntosh.
I don't know.
Madame Vastra. So, as I bring the show to a pause.
Yeah.
To a pause.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure.
We'll find out later. But
who is Leah?
Either I'm what is it?
Leah Lothian?
Okay.
Leah Lothian. Lothian. Lothian.
I really thought it was Neve McIntosh who plays Madame Vastra.
Well,
it's like, darn, there was a wasted cameo.
And then we get the puppet show. Oh, as the toy maker puts on this little puppet marionette show to talk about some of the companions who have died.
Yeah. But it's all right then.
Yeah, and the thing is like Amy, it's like, well, it was kind of weird to me that they counted her as a death since she did go back in time and lived out a life. I mean, with her husband even.
I think just because technically she's dead at this point in time, so he can get away with saying that.
Yeah. But the other two, obviously, I mean, that was the thing. And then, of course, they bring up the flux again, wiping out the universe. And we already know from last time that that's a sore point for the Doctor.
Yep.
And
the show. It was one of my favorite scenes in the episode.
and again, Neil Patrick Harris chewing the scenery just enough.
He did the fine. He walked that fine line between eating everything eating all the scenery, and just being brilliant in that role.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like he knows how much scenery he can chew and when to pull back and be scary.
Mm-hmm.
So the Doctor challenges him to a game because that's what he wants ultimately.
Yep.
And I love Donna going, he's gonna cheat, and they both look at her like, no, you did not just say that. It's like, no, his whole existence is that he is bound by the rules of the game. He literally cannot cheat. So they go with a simple game. Cut the deck. High card wins. The toy maker wins, and just as he's about to go, all right, what is my prize? The Doctor goes, wait, I won last time, and you won this time. That means best of 3. And I love that leap in logic works.
Well, I mean, technically, it's the Doctor's the same person, so
Right.
So it's a tie. They need a tie-breaking game. Oh, so they get away. They go back to present-day London. Start warning everyone. Oh my! Let's see. I think they took down the satellite with the giant galvanic beam.
Yes.
AKA Chekhov's gun.
uh-huh.
And then we get Spice Up Your Life.
It starts playing in the background, and I named that tune in 2 notes.
And here we have Neil Patrick. And again, this scene, more than all of the rest, I think, really shows why it almost had to be Neil Patrick Harris in this role.
Yeah.
To be that energetic and that over the top, and yet still come across as a serious villain, even while he's doing that.
Yep.
I don't know. If somebody with that level of power came at me with the Spice Girls, I think I'd be afraid.
Yes.
I mean, he turns a couple of guards into like balls,
Yes.
Marcy balls.
You see their
He turns
faces
bullets
screaming
into
within.
rose petals.
Yes.
And then he just disappears down a trapdoor that doesn't exist. Because of course he can.
Because of course, yes.
I'm going to take over as the toy maker. It'd be like Disneyland's forever.
Yeah.
So, and the Doctor, of course, is going, wait, he's not gone. Where is he? And realize he's out on Chekhov's gun, the galvanic beam device.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes out there and he's like, okay, real 10th Doctor moment. I got to give you a chance before I take you down. Come travel with me. Well, we can leave this planet alone. We can go play games out everywhere in the universe, all of space and time. And the toy maker is like, nope.
Yeah.
I kind of like this place. These are people who created a game of bricks falling onto other bricks.
Sometimes mentions head games and office politics, and there's the little things that we don't think of as games every day.
But he does.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole world for him to just chew on. Kris is trying to make her cat star of the show. Passengers, you can't see it, but
No, I wasn't. She was sitting on the printer and she's getting so heavy.
Well, okay, Dixie Rosalie, I see what you're
something.
doing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. So the toy maker decides that, you know what? So he played his first game with one version of the Doctor. He played the second game with this version of the Doctor. He wants a new version. So he shoots the Doctor with the galvanic beam.
Oh, that was bad. Ooh.
He
And
shoots
so, of course,
them
we
all
start
the
to
way
see-
through, and there's no tear in the costume whatsoever.
Right. No burn, no nothing.
Nada.
You know, special effects budgets can only go so far, especially on Doctor Who.
They couldn't afford to wreck one suit.
No.
Oh. So he starts to regenerate, and both Donna and Mel rush up and say, you know, we don't care. I mean, kill us if you need to, but we're going to be here for him as he goes through this. And even, you know, unlike the last time when it was David Tennant, instead of going, I don't want to go, he's like, Alonzi, let's go.
Yeah.
Again, kind of showing that change, that character development that he's experienced and that we've been seeing from him. And then we get, I guess some people think this is controversial, but the bi-regeneration.
I don't know. I think it's very cool.
It's an interesting idea, I think. And I can't, part of me can't help but feel like it's a way to keep David Tennant around in the background so they can bring him back again.
Yeah.
It's definitely a way to bring David back around, but like I've been saying since the whole Timeless Child storyline, I love the Doctor being a mystery again, and this just adds to this being a legendary mythical being we don't really know anything about, because once Matt regenerated, it was like, oh, okay, well, now we know everything.
Well, and even there, I mean, the 15th Doctor, once he's out, he even refers to it as a myth, and it kind of goes back to the last episode with the Doctor making the entities count grains of salt before they can cross the line. And he himself said, it's like, you know, I invoked a superstition out in the middle, out in this edge of the universe where the fabric of reality is thin. And so there's this sense that that is leading into not only why did the toy maker come back, why is he in our universe, but there's going to be more of that, more of this fantasy and myth. And I think, you know, skipping ahead a little bit later on, even when they take away the toy maker's box, you hear Kate say, you know, seal it with salt.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hints here that we're going to see a lot more of myth and fantasy going forward because of the consequences of last episode.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind seeing that come in. I mean, one of the scariest episodes of Torchwood was the one with the fairies. Fairies are not cute, nice, and sweet. They are not Tinkerbell.
No, they're not.
That's a scary episode.
And it would be fun to take, you know, because we've said before, I know Jason and I have talked about this, that Doctor Who is in and of itself almost an anthology series of sorts, because it can go to all of these different types of science fiction and fantasy and play with it. And this kind of opens up the toy box a little bit, not to, you know,
No pun intended.
no pun intended there, but it kind of opens things up a little bit for them to play around that much more. So I'm looking forward to what they do with that as well. And it took me a while to realize why the new Doctor was running around without any pants on.
The way the costume split in two. I didn't catch that for the first couple minutes.
Yeah, it's like it took me a moment until I was going, wait, is he not wearing pants?
By the
and
way,
then I'm like, okay, well, wait, so he has the tie and David doesn't. And then
was it technically Scooty
but they both had the shirt.
Pants?
Yeah.
Well, Scooty's wearing pants because that's what they call underwear over there.
Yes, right.
Fair enough. He was not wearing trousers, let's say.
Yes. Oh.
So yeah, so it's like the costume kind of split, but they both had shoes and they both had shirts. I noticed.
Yeah. So I'm anxious to see what they will actually put him in. I don't think he's going to run around with no pants.
No,
the
he's
entire thing.
going to have a week-to-week wardrobe, which one thing I've really disliked since the Fifth Doctor era on was the Doctor they put the Doctor in a costume. I like the Doctor having a wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
We know he has a very large wardrobe to choose from.
He certainly does.
When you see the actor in the same costume every episode, it's kind of superhero-y. I'd rather see them go back. And Ncuti's going to do this. We've seen him in different outfits in every photo we've seen so far.
So what would be really cool is if they pull from that wardrobe and you have him use all those old costumes.
You know what? If anybody can rock the Sixth Doctor's costume, it would be Ncuti. He would make it fabulous.
Even if they just have like some question marks and such on some.
I wouldn't mind him going back in the old wardrobe and being like, "Oh, I remember this velvet jacket."
Yeah. This is perfect. I gotta wear this.
I haven't worn that in ages. Yeah.
Yes.
That would be a lot of fun.
I haven't worn that in decades.
Oh. So of course we get the game of catch because the first game was all right. So we have the game of catch. We have some fun with that, and the two doctors manage to defeat the toy maker. Mm-hmm. And he does that weird little bit. Does he folds up into nothingness and ends up in his box?
No. But he lets us know his legions are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that's going to be related to that idea of the myth and fantasy coming back in as well. So the fact that his version of, like the Doctor says at one point, it's like, you think it's all between order and chaos, but he represents play. And I think we're going to get a lot more of that with his legions coming forward.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to live in the play world. It'd be fun. No bills.
Of course, he leaves behind his gold tooth, which we had learned earlier contained the Master.
Mm-hmm.
And we get that nice shot of this woman with bright red fingernails picking up this gold tooth, and I'm looking at that going, okay, this is on the edge of the Avengers Tower platform. Mm-hmm. Where is this person standing?
Yeah.
I have a theory. Because we saw someone with bright red, lady's hand with bright red nail polish. I rewatched on the second rewatch. I was looking at every female in the room, and the only one whose hands could have matched were Kate's. Kate
doesn't answer my question though. Where was she standing?
I know.
Yeah.
Just the angle of it. I immediately was kind of taken out the whole thing because of that. I'm going, there's nowhere for someone to stand to be grabbing it from that angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have to do a twisty hand motion to get it.
I mean, unless they're on a hoverboard.
Unless this person is from the legion of those that are to come, and she was the first to get there and picked it up, and she now knows what to do with it.
I think it would be an interesting storyline if it was Kate, but I don't want it to be Kate.
No.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if we're going to see that paid off immediately. That just felt like it's here's a free story beat for someone to pick up sometime down the line when we want to bring the Master back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally off topic, but the person I want to see play the Master next is Gillian Anderson. I want to see those two square off against each other.
That would be interesting. She's another very good actor. She could totally play that.
Yeah, and I think they're going to a whole series together over there. So they already know each other.
There you go. So we get to the TARDIS, and we have two doctors, and they're trying to figure out, well, how is this going to work?
Yep.
And I like that the 14th Doctor is like showing the 15th Doctor around. Like the 15th Doctor doesn't know what the TARDIS does. Okay, and this button does this, and this one does that.
He's being sad. He's being very, very sad.
Oh. But then the 15th Doctor realizes, hey, maybe some of the Toymaker's energy is still around. Pulls out a big mallet and creates a second TARDIS.
Yeah.
And the second one has a jukebox.
Yes.
No, I thought Ncuti had the good jukebox. He told David, you need to put a chair in here. It was Ncuti that had the jukebox.
Mm-hmm. Right, because, well, it was the second one. So because they leave the first one, they go into the second one, or Tennant does, and he sees the jukebox, and then he leaves and goes back into the first one again. Yeah. And so, Ncuti, the 15th Doctor, ends up with the one with the jukebox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do love how he hits the TARDIS and immediately whispers to it, I'm so sorry. You take a second and just talk about how Ncuti came out fully formed. There was no... I have Gallifreyan man flu. I need to lay down for an episode. He comes out fully formed, ready to go. And I really don't want us to miss this point.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Of all the times for him to have problems.
We don't want to miss this point. We
don't want to miss this point. And Jake,
so we don't want to miss this point. Is the Doctor is somebody who, if you watch the show, is someone who very much hates themselves, and you see it in multi-Doctor stories. This is the first time that you see it between Ncuti and David. This is the first time the Doctor is allowing themselves to love themselves and give themselves permission to heal.
Well, yeah, even like right away, Ncuti's Doctor like basically kind of hugs.
Yeah, I mean, he kisses him on the forehead.
It's okay, I'm here. Like
14 starts to cry in his arms, and I that was a moment that brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah,
it's okay. We don't have to hate ourselves anymore. We are in a good place. We can love ourselves.
Yeah, and I think kind of the implication is, so they're basically sending the 14th Doctor to say, you know what, take a break.
Yeah,
take a break. Take some time to heal. And learn, like you say, learn to love yourself. And the implication is that the 15th Doctor is what happens after that healing has happened.
Yeah. So at some point, are they going to reconnect, or?
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. I admit. I'm not sure how that.
I mean, it's a really good.
What happens when the 14th Doctor reaches the end of his?
I wonder that is he going to regenerate again, or is this the beginning of the Curators that we see with Tom Baker back in the 50th?
And that could be, and we could have a total split where the 14th Doctor then regenerates into someone completely different.
Yeah, Russell said he wanted a whole Hooniverse like Marvel. So, no, we've got David and we've got Tennant. We've got the Doctor and Donna back again. They have a TARDIS. They have potential for adventures. I'm sure we're going to see them again. It's kind of like David's a busy actor, so if they can get him for a story, they can get him without having to explain it.
Yeah. Well, and even if we do a spin-off of Unit, Donna has a job with Unit now.
Yes,
Kate offered her a job, and she kind of accepted.
$60,000. Give me 120 and 5 weeks pay. Done.
I wish I could do that.
I was listening to the podcast Verity, who's my favorite Doctor Who podcast, and they were talking about this Unit spinoff needs to be like The Office. Bring in all the old companions, working there, and see the little.
There you go.
See the day-to-day having to work side by side. Who ate my lunch?
Well, and that's a good point. We already have Tegan and Ace could easily come back.
Yeah.
because we showed them working with Unit before.
Mhm.
So, I mean, so we do have that capability of having multiple ex-companions show up. So that would
Martha Jones, Martha Jones, Martha Jones, Martha Jones. Not anybody who was in the puppet show, but Martha Jones.
Martha Jones.
yeah. She was still around as well, as far as I recall. But yeah, so Tennant and the 14th Doctor goes off with Donna to rest and recuperate and heal, and we see that nice little scene with them at the end where the Doctor seems like the happiest he's ever been, and I think he even says something to that effect.
I love that he's already popped off to New York with his new niece.
And to Mars.
And to Mars, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, they're already going places. They're doing stuff.
They're gonna be doing stuff. Yeah, I don't see the Doctor putting Rose in anything truly dangerous. Maybe they'll just stay in their little solar system and look around for 5 minutes here and there.
Well, here's a question. Here's a question about that. So the TARDIS usually takes the Doctor where he needs to be. Yeah. Is this TARDIS going to be like, no, this Doctor is trying to heal. Let's actually take him to the holiday planet instead of to the planet of doom that Destiny needs
let's not go to Peladon for the 5th time. Why don't we go to Maui?
There you go.
Right? I mean, maybe the TARDIS will kind of behave a little better in that regard and just take him to.
Well, this is a new
safer
TARDIS
places.
Also.
Yeah,
So.
it is. Yeah.
And of course, we see the 15th Doctor in his new TARDIS, ready to go.
Yes.
I was like, we've had this great adventure. It's so good to see you get out. Party's over. Go home.
And he's still pantless, so
Not technically.
Trouserless.
Trouserless. Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
So yeah, first thing he has to do is go visit his wardrobe, and then he can go on some more adventures. But so we are going to see more of him in the Christmas special coming up.
Christmas Day.
First in season 1, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think overall, I really enjoyed all of this episode. This was a lot of fun. I don't have any real complaints about it.
No.
Other than where was that person standing that picked up the tube? Other than that, it's my only complaint.
I can't wait to own these 3 episodes on Blu-ray and put them on my Doctor Who shelf.
Yeah, this is it's a good set. I said before, it feels like just a very short season, like a half season with David Tennant as the Doctor, and it works very well as that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great trilogy. It's kind of what they should have done for Matt, where it was a goodbye trilogy for Matt, but they should have sold it as a trilogy.
Or packaged it that way,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So definitely looking forward to the show going forward. So before we wrap it up, is there any final thoughts from either of you two? How about you, Chris? Any final thoughts before we?
I'm just thrilled to death that Doctor Who is back, and I am really looking forward to seeing where this is going to take us.
Absolutely. How about you, Jay? Same thing?
I'm really looking forward to seeing a Doctor who has literally packaged all his regenerations post Time War into one pretty package, dropped it off, and can now go off and have fun again. And is not the lonely god or the sad man in a box. We're going to see, I think we're going to see a return to old school Doctor Who in regards to the Doctor, where he is having a ball.
You know, my immediate thought was like, are we going to get something more like the second Doctor, and just, someone who's out to have some fun in the universe? And it's like, yeah, I'll right some wrongs along the way too, but let's have some fun. That's the whole point of this.
Like I said, we talked about on that season, I said it's when the Doctor goes, woohoo, that's danger fun. I think we're going to see that in this Doctor.
And I'm definitely looking forward to that. I hope that that's kind of more the tone going forward, since that's kind of what they set up here. So
Yeah.
No more Time War drama, no more sad over Rose.
Yeah, it's like let's get a companion and travel all the space and time and have some fun.
Yes.
This is my favorite thing about this show. Here we are talking about its 60th year, and it has just refreshed itself again.
Yes.
I mean, and it always
Go
will.
on for another 60 years. You never know.
Maybe it'll go to the
Absolutely.
asteroid hits us.
All right. So with that, I think we are ready to wrap this one up. So Ken, take it away.
The Grand Circle Tour podcast is brought to you in part by Expedition Roasters. When you visit expeditionroasters.com, use the promo code Grand Circle Tour podcast, that's all one word, and you will receive 10% off of your purchase. If you would like to keep the adventure going after the show, be sure to visit our Facebook page, Disney Friends of the Grand Circle Tour podcast. While you're on Facebook, like our page, Grand Circle Tour podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Grand Circle Tour Podcast, on Instagram at GCT Podcast, and our YouTube channel, Grand Circle Tour. On TikTok, Grand Circle Tour. That's all one word. If you'd like to email us, drop us a line, gctpodcast@gmail.com. T-shirts and other fun merch can be found at tpublic.com. Simply search Grand Circle Tour Podcast. If you enjoyed your visit, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Only one rule, make it good. All logos, sounds, music, and songs that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned in full by the Disney Corporation, and they are not, nor are they intended to be owned in any way by the Grand Circle Tour Podcast. Thank you for riding with us, and welcome home.
Doctor, you're being childish.
Well, of course I am. There's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes.